Hello everyone, welcome back to One Piece Nerd. In chapter 1130, the Straw Hat crew embarked on their adventure in the legendary land of giants, Elbaf, but instead of staying together, they split into 3 groups after Luffy set off on his own to follow the voice of a powerful figure he sensed. Each group has its own tasks and discoveries. Today we will continue analyzing the thrilling chapter 1130. Let's pick up with the conversation aboard the Great Eirik, where the notable point on Luffy's wanted poster is the X on his left arm. Later on, no matter what happens, this X will always be a sign among the crew. It's how they identify each other to prevent Bon Clay from disguising as them. Also, this was the message the Straw Hat crew sent to Princess Vivi when they parted ways at Alabasta. I carefully checked the EggHead Arc and didn't see any X on Luffy's arm when he transformed. So there's only one possibility. The X in Luffy's picture after the EggHead event was added by Vivi herself. Currently, Vivi is hiding at Morgan's newspaper office along with Wapol. If it wasn't her, then who else could have done that? After Morgan finished drafting the article and prepared to print it, Vivi secretly drew the X on Luffy's arm in the original newspaper. It's easy to guess the message Vivi wanted to send. She wants to let the Straw Hat crew know that she's still alive and safe. The latest newspaper said that Vivi was missing, and King Cobra was killed by Sabo during the reverie. The crew is surely worried about her, and to ease their concerns and help them continue their journey to find the One Piece treasure, Vivi decided to send a message that only her crewmates would understand, calming their worries. At the start of the EggHead Arc, the Straw Hat crew debated whether to rescue Vivi first or continue searching for clues to Laugh Tale, and then they accidentally landed on Egghead Island. Now, they can be assured that Vivi is safe. However, Oda has arranged an interesting twist by having Robin and the crewmates who aren't as close to Vivi see the message first. Frankie, Brook, and Jinbei joined later, so they don't know that Vivi was an unofficial crew member. The one who noticed the oddity was Robin, the cool and calm Robin, who was once Vivi's mortal enemy when she worked for Crocodile, but is also the only crew member who saw the X outside of Luffy's group while hiding on the Going Merry. Robin joined the crew officially after the Alabasta events, replacing Vivi in a surprising turn of the story back then. However, Robin only found the X familiar but didn't fully grasp its meaning. They'll probably have to wait until the crew gathers in Elbaf to recognize this message. Additionally, there's no new bounty information for the Straw Hat crew yet. Perhaps Oda-sensei wants the whole crew to reunite before revealing it. At that time, the newspaper will be brought out for everyone to see. I bet Luffy's new bounty will be extremely high. If Dory and Brogy are worth 18 billion, the Straw Hat Emperor's bounty won't be less than 4 billion Beely. Brogy even mentioned that he didn't expect the young Straw Hat from back then to now be on par with red-haired Shanks. Among the emperors, aside from strength, bounties represent a person's fame and status. Remember when Luffy misread his bounty from 1.5 billion to 150 million? Nami was relieved they would be hunted less. Brook and others said that bounties are what represent the captain's reputation. Currently, Luffy stands on equal footing with Shanks, but not just because they are both Yonko. Buggy is also a Yonko, but knowledgeable people would never say he is on par with Shanks, Blackbeard, or Luffy. Even Luffy himself, after Wano, became a Yonko, but his bounty was the same as Kid and Law. Therefore, he hadn't yet reached the standard of a great pirate that Shanks expects. It's not until the end of the Egghead incident that Luffy truly rises to Shanks' level. The day when the two meet again is very near. Besides his upgraded strength, as you've seen, Luffy's new bounty will undoubtedly be very impressive. Not only was Brogy happy about Luffy's success, but he was also thrilled to hear that Hadrudin would be joining the Straw Hat fleet. This news came as quite a surprise because Hadrudin is the son of the king. Currently, Hadrudin is tasked with protecting Elbaf. He would love to welcome the Straw Hat crew, but this heavy responsibility forces him to stay behind. This year, Hadrudin is 63 years old, but he's still called a kid because the lifespan of giants is several times longer than that of regular humans. The giant warrior's crew belongs to the elders, and the younger warriors stay behind for the sole purpose of guarding one person. When they heard this, Frankie's group was in shock. They never expected that someone so strong could cause all of Elbaf to mobilize its warriors to contain him. That person is none other than the cursed prince mentioned in the title. He is another prince of the kingdom of Elbaf, and Hadrudin's biological brother. This occurred during the time when Dory and Brogy disappeared. He committed an unforgivable crime, giving himself to the darkness. A few years ago, this prince was sentenced to crucifixion. He tried to escape, but luckily, the warriors managed to join forces to stop him and recapture him. It seems Jinbei knows who this is. He asked, "Don't tell me it's..." Exactly. In Elbaf, there is a legendary devil fruit passed down through the royal family, but his overwhelming greed led him to cruelly murder his own father, King Harold. That's why we can't allow this cursed prince to roam free. If he escapes, it will be the end of the world. He is the disgrace of Elbaf. That's right, the name being mentioned here is none other than Prince Loki. A few years ago, he murdered the king of Elbaf, who was also his biological father, to seize the legendary devil fruit. Loki's reason for proposing marriage to Big Mom has also been revealed. Loki knew he couldn't fight all of Elbaf on his own, so he proposed to Lola, intending to use Big Mom's power to conquer Elbaf. But Lola was disgusted by him and rejected the proposal, fleeing instead. At that time, Jinbei was a member of Big Mom's crew, which is how he knows the story of Loki, and everything makes perfect sense. Even Hundredin's journey to Dressrosa to compete for the Mera Mera fruit ties into this. He needed that power to fight Loki. The reason Loki hasn't been executed yet is likely due to the legendary devil fruit he seized. The people of Elbaf need to recover it. Loki is also the powerful voice that Luffy sensed. The scene shifts to the primeval forest in Elbaf, where Luffy stands before Loki. Loki is the trickster god in Norse mythology, famous for his cunning and for stirring up trouble among the gods, causing countless disasters as well as a few unintended victories. Though he lived with the gods in Asgard, he was not a true god. He was the son of a giant from the Jotun clan named Farbauti, and his mother was Laufey. Loki was Odin's blood brother by oath, and thus he followed Odin to Asgard, though not as an adopted son like in Marvel. Perhaps this is the reason why Loki became something of an outcast, gradually growing lonely among the gods and his Jotun kin. He often didn't care much about either side, sometimes aiding the Aesir gods, other times supporting the Jotun clan. For Loki, causing trouble and creating chaos was likely his only joy. Tales of Loki's tricks are scattered throughout Norse mythology. For instance, the story where he cut off Sif's beautiful hair, forcing him to restore her hair and offer many treasures to the gods, including Thor's famous hammer Mjolnir. Another time, he helped the giant Thiazi kidnap the goddess Idun, along with her apples of immortality, causing the gods to grow old and weak. This forced Loki to transform into an eagle, trick Thiazi, and fly him through a giant fire, burning him to ashes, and thus rescuing Idun and immortality for the gods of Asgard. But there were times when Loki saved the gods from danger. For instance, when he stopped a builder from winning the challenge of constructing Asgard's walls. If the builder had won, he would have demanded the goddess of beauty Freya, as well as the sun and moon. To prevent this, Loki transformed into a mare and lured away the builder's horse. Afterward, Loki gave birth to the eight-legged horse Sleipnir, which he presented to Odin. Another story involves Thor losing his hammer Mjolnir to the giant Thrym, who demanded Freya in marriage as ransom. Loki suggested Thor disguised himself as Freya in a bridal gown, and at the wedding, they reclaimed the hammer and killed all of Thrym's guests. Speaking of Loki's family, he had 6 children in total, 3 monstrous children with the giantess Angerboda, the wolf Fenrir, the serpent Jormungandr, and the goddess of the underworld, Hel. In his mare form, Loki also gave birth to the 8-legged horse Sleipnir. Whenever he returned to Asgard, his beloved family consisted of his wife Sigyn and their 2 sons, Nari and Vali, who were gentle and kind. However, Loki's 3 monstrous children worried the gods of Asgard, as prophecy foretold they would bring about the apocalypse, Ragnarok. In the end, the gods dealt harshly with them, chaining Fenrir, casting Jormungandr into the sea, and banishing Hel to the dark underworld. This made Loki furious, and he caused the greatest disaster, the death of the god Balder, Odin, and Frigg's beloved son. This final straw enraged all the gods of Asgard. They chained Loki and punished him by making him endure the venom of a snake, which burned his body with unbearable pain. Resentment slowly built within Loki, and one day, he and his monstrous children will break free from their bonds. On that day, Loki will no longer be the mischievous trickster, but a vengeful and hateful god. The day he breaks free will be Ragnarok, the apocalypse that the gods had always feared. In comparison to Loki in One Piece, he is the Prince of Elbaf, who murdered his own father, King Harold. Afterward, Loki was chained to a tree in a forest full of wild beasts and had to endure freezing cold. Loki's design in One Piece is incredibly striking. He is a muscular giant with a helmet featuring 2 sharp horns, a sinister grin, and a goatee. His habit of sticking out his tongue when speaking reveals how cunning Loki is, much like a snake. Furthermore, Loki wears something resembling a sword or another item on his back, back, which could be his weapon. Most notably, both of Loki's eyes are covered with a blindfold. His belt features a crowned skull, signifying that Loki has become a pirate. He possesses a legendary devil fruit, combining its powers with his immense strength. Perhaps regular chains couldn't hold him, which is why he was likely restrained using Sea Stone. Chained in Sea Stone, Loki lost all his strength and had to endure the bone-chilling cold, but he seemed to enjoy the punishment without showing any discomfort, proving he is exceptionally powerful. He caught Luffy's attention and required the strongest warriors of Elbaf to unite just to capture him. Thus, Oda's prophecy came true. A pirate with an eye patch has appeared. According to Oda's earlier comments, the author had long wanted to draw a pirate with an eye patch, and when this character emerged, it would signal that the series was reaching its final stage. Today, that figure has appeared in Elbaf. One Piece is only a few arcs away from its conclusion. Look at Loki's strength. Even though he's chained and blindfolded, he can still use observation haki. Yes, you heard it right, Loki's observation haki is incredibly strong. The proof is that when Luffy arrived, Loki told him to state his name, even though Loki couldn't see anything. Luffy is a small figure, so the sound of his footsteps in the snow was faint, and there was still a considerable distance between them. Yet Loki was able to distinguish Luffy from the wild animals, knowing he was human and strong, which excited him. Perhaps there was no one in Elbaf who intrigued him this much. When asked by Luffy, he calmly replied, "I am Luffy, the one who will become the Pirate King." In response, Loki asked, "You are a king? This is the battlefield of the Kingdom of Elbaf, once known for its full dedication to war. I am the Sun God, the one who will bring about the world's apocalypse, Loki." In the double-page spread of the chapter, the next scene is truly impressive as the Grand Kingdom of Elbaf is revealed. The focal point is the Yggdrasil tree, inspired by Norse mythology. The area is snow-covered year-round, and the primordial forest is filled with giant wild beasts. This is where Elbaf's warriors undergo survival trials during their coming-of-age rituals. It is called the battlefield, and Elbaf's prison is built atop the tallest mountains, connected to the kingdom by a suspension bridge. Zoro's group is following the bridge to the middle level of Yggdrasil. Due to the strong winds, someone exclaims that the bridge is shaking violently. The Kingdom of Elbaf is built on the massive Yggdrasil tree, with its top reaching the sky. Many cannons are mounted on the tree branches, pointing directly toward the sea. This is how the people of Elbaf defend themselves. From this height, the giants can easily observe any approaching ships, and with the cannon's range and destructive power, they can annihilate almost any enemy from afar. If someone is lucky enough to land on the island, they will have to face giant monsters before reaching the suspension bridge, the only path leading to the Kingdom of Elbaf. If the giants destroy the bridge, the enemy will be struck down from above, and unless they can fly, storming Elbaf is nearly impossible. This kingdom has an excellent defensive position, much like the Wano country. Elbaf was first mentioned 25 years ago in chapter 116, through the words of Brogy. Elbaf, the homeland of the giant warriors, is a place both Luffy and Usopp have long dreamed of visiting. Finally, after 25 long years, we have a full view of Elbaf, a magnificent and mystical wonder. Though there were scattered images depicting the place, no one expected the island's form to be that of a giant tree, Yggdrasil, the world tree inspired by Norse mythology. The Straw Hat Pirates have only explored a small corner of Elbaf, and with its immense size, there promises to be many new and exciting things awaiting them. Especially the cursed Prince Loki. He is closely connected to Elbaf and uses a sword similar to Shanks. He killed his father to seize a devil fruit like Blackbeard and is extremely cunning, sticking his tongue out while speaking, much like the clown Buggy. He even declares himself the sun god in front of Luffy. In other words, Loki embodies traits of all four emperors, and such an intriguing character deserves a video of his own. See you next time. So I've finished analyzing the latest One Piece chapter 130. Thank you all for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. For now, goodbye, and see you again.